Did you have a question?
Yeah, sure. First a comment. I would just say that in the future, if you ever do this again or whatever, don't tell people that you're nervous. Because,
okay.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
And once you got into your groove, you're talking about what you love, there's no need for it. So you're already setting people up to kind of know. We're already going to be nice to you anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Phew.
But anyways, great. It was a good presentation. The only other thing is, is it just you, Pam, or do you hire people like for bigger parties?
I do hire people. I have 2 people that I use pretty exclusively, and then I have about 3 others that I can call on. But usually, with the amount of people that I have done in the past, those people, we can handle it. We've handled large affairs.
So are you cooking in somebody's home, or you
No.
bring it out warm and then warming it?
A lot of it is in the people's homes. If it's like a wedding that's off, then I rent kitchens or use churches or whatever I can do. Eventually down the road, my goal is to get a warehouse set up so I can provide a kitchen for people like myself, because in shopping around, it's very expensive actually to rent a kitchen, and it really eats into your profits. Yes, sir?
What are you looking for? What do you need to grow your business?
More business.
Do you need money? Do you need people? Do you need facilities? How can we help you grow your business, which is why we're here?
Money is important right now because I'm very small, and I didn't think through it. Like when I first started, it was like, okay, let's go. And so I didn't really have the capital. Looking back on it now, I should have waited another year and saved up some money, but I didn't. It was very spur of the moment, but I haven't looked back. So yes, money, facilities are important. Like I said, if I can get an area where I can go to every day, such as a warehouse, and have a commercial kitchen that's provided and storage space, it would be easier. Yes, sir?
What is your vision for where you want to take your business?
Eventually, I don't know if any of you know Ina Garden and the Barefoot Condessa. Eventually, I want to move into a warehouse, as I said, and provide a place for people like myself who don't have, I know a lot of people, I even have friends that are under the radar also in this area because, as I said, commercial kitchens are so expensive to rent. Typically, you have to have a 3 or 4 hour period, and it's $50 to $150 an hour. So for a small caterer like myself, you don't make any profit, but you have to do it because you can't work in your own kitchen. So that is my next step where I want to be, is to have that and provide it for other people. And then I also have my own place to go to, which would sort of save me money for events. But down the road, my major goal is a gourmet store, but not the typical ones you see around here that have a restaurant or takeout food. I want to provide, if you can imagine walking into a store and having everything you need for that special event right there. Your wine, your dishware, have specialty foods. I want to cater out of the back. I don't want to be like a walk-in, get my dinner kind of thing, but I want to be able to provide for your events. Yes?
It sounds like you're describing 3 different businesses. One is your catering business, which is going to be hard to scale because it's basically you doing your thing, which is great, but hard to scale. Another is, which sounds like it might be an interesting business, is this notion of making space available for rent to people like you presently who need space to work. That's something that could scale. Right? You could work at a facility, and if that works, you can clone the facility elsewhere. And then the third business that you're talking about is a retail business, and it might be helpful to separate them in your own mind and come up with some sort of, work through, get a sharp pencil, figure out what it costs to do these things, and then treat them as separate activities because you can't do 3 things at once.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but technically they are all the same business because I am, to me, I'm catering. I'm still catering. I'm still providing food for people.
So you have 3 businesses under the same roof, but they're arguably different activities.
Yeah.
Business model
Yeah, I understand,
It's
yeah.
gonna be hard if you're trying to get people to help you, either by providing funding or something, then you're gonna have to tell them just what it is you're doing, and if it's three things, working alone, it can be really hard to get people to pay close attention because it doesn't seem practical.
Right. Well, I think I'm only trying to, I think the warehouse is basically space for me, but it also provides an area for people like me. So it's not that I'm out there advertising, come to this kitchen. It's just available
That
for
might be the best
people.
business, because if there are people, if that's a real need, and you can solve that and make money doing it, that's something you can reproduce and grow into a business. So
And that's my primary. The gourmet shop, I don't know if I'll ever reach that goal just because I don't know that there's a need in this area for that. That's my, I guess they always say, do you have, your bread and butter business and then you have your dream. And so that's kind of like the dream out there. The bread and butter falls under the catering and the warehouse, because then I would have a place where I can go every day, kind of treat it more as a business and go there and do the things I need to do.
Maybe it'll morph into something that you haven't been able to identify really, because I can picture you have this kitchen where you allow other people to come in, and it allows you to do your catering, and maybe you've got those items that people need, because maybe they're going to rent that from you. Those other people are going to take those dishes and those specialty things for events. I don't know, it could kind of just turn into that.
Yeah. Yes, sir?
Again, I would like to kind of disagree with this. I've dealt with some people who have tried to set up kitchens before, very heavy capital investment. I don't know if that's where you want to go right at the moment. I like your logo, and I also like your Facebook page, which I compliment you on. You have over 2,600 likes and followers in Hampton Roads. Doesn't sound like much on the internet, but in Hampton Roads, that's a pretty good number. That's a very good number. And what you're doing extremely well is you do things like you're actually showing some really nice pictures of what your product is. It speaks for itself. So great job on that.
Thank you.
On the presentation, what I really missed was, what was your passion that got you going into this? Why, like you said, you didn't know enough, you're crazy, or whatever. But what got you into this, and what is making you different than other caterers that are out there?
Well, I guess what got me started in cooking, and it happened a long time ago, my parents were horrible cooks. They were, I'm just going to tell you flat out. I never ate at home. And I...
Well, that's good. You should have put that in the fit.
Well, and so one day I was watching some show, and it was about cupcakes, and I had this idea for a cupcake. So I was like, I can make that. How hard is that? And I made them, and they were hockey pucks. And I was like, what's wrong? So I tried it again. Hockey pucks again. You couldn't even eat them. The whole batch went in. So I started researching and watching things, and the more I developed what I could do, and I saw what I could do, and people started liking what I did, I just wanted to do it more and more and more. So whenever there was a chance for a party or friends had something, I would offer to make things, and I would bring them into Atlantic Bay, or I shouldn't have probably said that. That's where I used to work. I would bring things into them all the time, just kind of to see what their take on it was, and everybody loved it. And so I've been doing that for probably 20 years. And then just decided to make the break and give it a go, because I was getting to a point where I didn't want to look back and regret the fact that I didn't try.
Speak to me as if we were this room full of investors that are looking at investing in companies. And we're going to invest because if we like what you've got, we're going to get our money back in a percentage.
Right.
Why would I invest in the Twisted Fork? What separates you from, why is your idea unique, and how do you rank up against all the other catering groups that are out there? What makes you different?
Well, I think one of the Well, there's a couple things. One of the things is I don't provide package A, B, or C for your event. Everything is catered especially to your needs, your likes. So I sit down and talk with people. I find out what they like, what they don't like, if they want to try things, and then I put together several menus based on their budgets. I work within any budget, and then I give them the menus to choose from. If they don't like, let's say they like the first one, but they don't like a couple items, we can change that. Everything is geared specifically for you and your party, so every party is unique. I also like to come up with new things all the time. I'm always trying to come up with special little appetizers or new foods that taste good, so I always have something new to offer people. And I think what makes me really unique from the other people, like I said, is cliche as it sounds, is I do care. I care that you like it, and I think that's important. Yes?
Are your margins better on private parties or business type events?
It really boils down to what they order, actually, because sandwiches are, they are what they are. I could probably price those a little bit better, but I know businesses have to watch their bottom line. Parties usually is where I make the better margin. Cocktails, parties, and especially weddings. If you have more than, if it's a larger party, especially if it's 100 people or more, it's easier to buy because I only buy fresh. So it's easier to spread that money out over more people than for a smaller party.
I would think that, because I think when you're in the business luncheon area, you're competing against Panera Bread. It's just easier to pick up the phone and call Panera and have it delivered. It would seem to me that probably your best profit, your margin is going to be best on private parties, wedding type, rehearsal dinners, things of that nature. So maybe one of the things that you might want to consider is to drop that lower margin off and just put your efforts toward the private parties, because that seems to be where, when people are getting married at an extra $1,000, what difference does that make?
Right, right.
So, but business people, they'll just pick up the phone, because my wife orders lunch all the time for her organization, and she just picks up the phone and calls Panera Bread.
And people have done that with me. Unfortunately, and I don't want to sound like a negative, I do need at least 24 hours notice because I have to go out and buy the product and then make it. But yes, I have evolved more over the last year into doing the parties and the weddings, and I'm finding that's what I love to do more anyway. Yes, sir?
I really like the name. I think you should trademark it.
It is trademarked.
It is trademarked.
Yeah, I had an instance where a restaurant stole my name from in Hampton. Yeah.
Because I Googled you, and the one in Hampton is not
Yeah.
in business.
Yeah, I got a lot of complaints, and that's how I found out they stole my name.
In a commercial kitchen, you should look at like an Airbnb of being the Airbnb of commercial kitchens, because you're the third or fourth person I've heard in there complain about commercial kitchens as a side hustle. You're better off probably not building commercial kitchens because they're crazy expensive. But how about all these restaurants that are idle in the middle of the night that could use capital? If you could organize, I saw there's a guy doing pickles that had a commercial kitchen doing that, piggybacked off of somebody up in Chicago. It worked out well.
That's definitely an idea.
Pop-up event, put the commercial kitchens along with the other person together, and you have a real business model where you're not putting up any capital and you're just making a spread off the market.
It's a good idea.
Other than word of mouth, what are other mechanisms you use to market to get the word out?
Well, I will say I've only really started marketing this year because I got a little complacent with all the business lunches I was doing. They were kind of feeding me. And then I realized that I needed to do more. So I have done some print advertising, but I'm not seeing results from that. Mostly it's social media and reaching out that way. I do Instagram, Facebook, Twitter sometimes. And then just networking. I go to places like this and try and get my name out a little bit more. I actually popped into a radio station one day because they had talked about me on the radio, so I brought them some food and it turned into a whole big interview, so that worked out well.
Do more than that.
Do you offer any kind of discount to folks that refer you and you get new business?
Yes, yes, I have done that. I haven't seen, though, that it works so well, but I have offered it.
And that's, I would just tie into a point that Bill made about the business lunch. I think he's spot on about probably the margins and everything, but there is a marketing aspect to those business lunches. You're exposing yourself to people who do things, my work, the people that would be at a business luncheon or, more executives and stuff like that, they get exposed to your product. So there is a marketing aspect to that.
I like doing the business lunches because, like I said, they kind of feed me during the week in between the big events.
Yeah.
So you still get a little bit of
If I could just follow up for you.
No, I was going to ask a question about that. So what Bill was saying, his wife calls Panera. Are your price points anywhere close to that, or are they the difference?
Oh, mine I think are, well, when I first started, I did actually look at a lot of places around here and what they charged, and I made sure that everything I priced was a little bit lower. So, and I've kept it that way. So I do think that and I don't charge for delivery as long as you're within a 30-mile radius, which is pretty much everywhere around here. And I don't, I try and keep it fair to people. I do require a 10-person minimum just because otherwise I can't deliver a sandwich and a salad. But I do like your trays and box lunches and.
So for people who usually call Panera, they can call you and just about similar something.
Oh,
You get some-
definitely. But you get something different with me. You don't
Yeah.
get the
No, I'm just- I'm
standard
saying that
salad.
Because, when people think, well, I can't afford to call somebody with this beautiful logo that sounds very gourmet, and let's look at their food, they immediately would think, I can't afford this. They wouldn't,
No, my
I
sandwich.
would pick up the phone and I think, well, I'm going to get a cheap old Panera.
Yeah, no, I think I'm very fair, especially if you look at Taste or Panera or any of those.
That's good.
Pam, have you put together a business plan for where you want to take the business? Because here, let me just condition it just a little bit, because I think that you can get too wide too fast, and you've got some dreams of, having the warehouse, maybe renting out the kitchen and doing all that kind of stuff, but just on the core Twisted Fork catering business, which I do believe could probably scale a little bit, because you've got recipes, you can hire people to do the recipes, you can hire people to deliver your product and stuff like that. So I think you can scale it up to a point, maybe not grand, but you could make it big to kind of help you to build into the other businesses. But have you actually done the
No.
actual- yeah, that's.
I'll
that's
admit,
the thing.
and I've been thinking about it. I've talked to my husband about it, and he agrees that I should do one. And, a lot of it, I think he still thinks in his head it's a hobby.
Yeah. Well, that's a key question, really.
But,
Do you really-
yes,
Is
I-
it a business or a hobby? And is it providing, do you want it to provide a living for you?
Yes, I do. I
You
do.
need to build, you need to have a map to kind of.
Exactly.
get there, because you can talk about the warehouse and the dream of it, which is awesome, but you gotta say, okay, what's that gonna cost? How much business do I need to
Yeah.
do in order to make that, dream a reality? Or can I actually get there doing it in homes right now to actually get to the warehouse, or do I need to find investors to kind of make that jump? Because it might not be possible to build it organically to the warehouse kitchen without
Right.
money, cash inflow. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So-
Yeah, and I do. I mean, that would be one of the things I didn't touch on too. That would probably be one thing that would help me is to get somebody to help me do a business plan, because I have looked into it online, and when I look at it, it's like, whoa, too confusing.
Do you know what? I had my students that teach entrepreneurship, and I had a class where it was connected to this thing called Live Plan. I'll write it down for you, but you can rent it for like $10 a month, and it walks you through the business plan. My favorite part is the financials. You just start popping in some numbers, and it forecasts out. You should wait till you see the graphics. It does. It'll just make your eyes dazzle.
Oh, I
because
would love that.
It's what you need, because it's for people who are not financial experts. Where you say, well, I need to hire a person, they cost this much an hour, this many hours. You just type that in, and pow, it pops it out every year. What'll it be next year? And so, and it gives you, they have sample plans in there for all kinds of businesses. You could look at those and say, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. You know, once you have a roadmap, you say, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. It's a very it's a doable thing, but I think a lot of people are afraid of it. They think they're not a writer, they think they can't do this type of thing. But really, it's just, if we sat here and asked you these questions, which you're answering, that's all you do is you write it down. And then if you had like a template, you just pop it in there and bam.
That's
It
perfect.
looks professional.
Perfect.
That's just one. I mean, there are hundreds of things you can do, but I worked with that with my students and they loved it.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
it's easy.
Have you been in contact with the Women's Business Center, or have you?
No, I have not.
There's an additional character, she's one of your,
Okay.
there are resources that will cost you time.
Okay.
And so,
Awesome.
taking care of myself, you want, we can connect you with those, and they're interested in helping you be successful. That's what they want.
Yay.
So there's some different resources on that. All for the business. You've been in business how long again?
3 years this month.
3 years. What is in your third year? How many events did you do last year? How many tracks did you?
I'm not a good record keeper, I'll say that. I do roughly 2 to 3 events a month. I would like to do more. My goal is to do more. December is always booked solid. In fact, I already have bookings for December now. I usually start getting very busy in October up through December. And then this last month for me this year has been very busy. The last 4 weeks have been really busy. But what really concerned me, and I guess that's when I actually said, hey, you need to get yourself out there and let people know you exist, because between January and April, I virtually had maybe one event, a small event, every month. So it was a little tight, but things are picking up again, so.
So you need to work on a plan that kind of keeps it just.
Yes, yes. I'd like to keep it a little bit more level, kind of like growing instead of getting ahead and then going
There's all kinds
backwards.
of stuff going on. I mean, there's graduations, there's all kinds of stuff. It's just all about getting out there.
Getting my name
having
out
a
there.
plan, Then it goes into marketing, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Do you work with any wedding planners or do you know any people that you're kind of?
I actually just I met Barbara Anderson, and I went to a meeting for the Eastern Virginia Wedding Planners Association, which I'm going to become a member of. And I feel like I could work very well. Barbara and I are going to meet after July 4th when her wedding slowed down a little bit. And talk a little bit about working together. I've also kind of got connected with photographers and a couple of cake ladies that make wedding cakes. So I'm slowly but surely getting into that niche, which at first I didn't really want to, but because I wanted to do more cocktail parties, but now I'm seeing that weddings really are cocktail parties. So yeah, so. Yes?
I thought you had a great presentation. I also heard something that you said, I think it was in response to Bill's question, that you offer this service that a lot of the bigger companies don't offer, where you sit down with people and help them find out anything and everything that they might want on their menu. That's a real added value. And then I also heard you say that you try to price yourself to be competitive against like the Panera Breads or the Tastes. And I almost think that that is too much of a strain. With that added value that you offer, with being able to work with any maybe possible, I think people probably would be willing and expect to pay a little more for that. I was just curious if you felt like your current pricing factors in the time that it takes for you to build those meetings and sit down and speak with people, or if you felt like that's time that you're
I think
losing
that's.
money or not making money.
Well, in all honesty, it's probably not something I have factored into my time just because I love doing it. So I sit there at night, you know, when most people are watching a show, I'm sitting there doing my menus and coming up with things, and because I love it. So I probably should back up. The prices that I try and make competitive are more with the business lunches versus the cocktail parties, because those do take more time. One of the local restaurants and I'll say his name, Charles Thane from Blue. He's been a great mentor to me, and we've become very good friends. So he's helped me a lot in how to price things and that type of thing.
Good guy, good food.
I love him. He just moved into my neighborhood, so I'm going to be a constant pest now.
There's some restaurants in our neighborhood, so we try to get in.
Yeah,
It's summertime, forget it.
I know, I know.
This might be redundant because I came in a little, this is redundant, might be a little redundant because I came in a little late. So what's the plan as far as getting help? Because we know good help is hard to find, and do you have a team?
Yes, yes. I have, as I said, I have 2 people that I rely on exclusively. And one is like, she's just super. I just love her. I give her a shout out every time we have an event. And then I have 3 other people that I can call on if I need help. But it's not hard. I actually have people in my neighborhood that are always like, hey, you need help. You don't even have to pay me. I would love to come and help you. So they probably know they can get some food or something. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I have one last question. What can 1 million cups do for you?
I'm not sure. Actually, I think you've provided me with a lot of information today, which is going to be helpful. And if I can, continue to call on, yourselves with questions or
Definitely.
advice, that would be great.
Come back in a few months and let us know how it's going.
I will.
Present again and we'll keep you
I-
rolling with ideas.
I will. That's awesome. Thank you.